made it down for my first trip to the Florida Keys. We wound up doing two trips or two small excursions for lobstering. First one, I don't know where I'm going. I looked up some reef maps and just kind of put it all together and got lucky. Found a few, but yeah, I'm coming into this blind and I've never done it before, so the beginning's pretty funny to watch. Thanks for watching. Here's a little boat.
Ahoy, mateys.
He's doing a scallywag. Arr. So that we're staying in a boat down there, and actually Key Largo was a lot of fun, but we drove down a little further and took the kayaks out. This is the first day that I went out, and this first spot was pretty full of life. I wound up seeing a barracuda actually on this spot, and then there is a bunch of parrotfish all over the place, so that was pretty cool to see. I noticed this little small lobster from the surface, so I said, oh, let's go check it out. I had went to two other spots, couldn't find any, and then I just happened to see that little one sticking out. I come down, I'm like, man, that's tiny, but I look over here in this hole, and I see one with some pretty big knuckles, and I'm like, all right, this is probably the spot. So I go ahead and grab my anchor, doing all this out of a kayak. And so I just go ahead, grab it, move anchor, and set up, and then I take a look at it from the other angle. I came down on the other side of that ledge and look in here, and there's definitely quite a few lobsters. There's definitely a beefy one in the front there. This is the first time I'm doing this, so I have no idea what I'm doing. But went at him that way, try to get another look at him. He's buried pretty deep in here, so I'm trying to irritate him just to get him back going the other way. So I poke at him a little bit, hoping to get him a little bit more in the open, and it took quite a few dives just to get a shot at him. Coming back down, camera gets a little foggy here, and he's back back towards the front. I irritate him a little bit, get him to come out, and this I was like, oh yeah, I got this shot here. So I got the tail there. I couldn't get it around that rock. I accidentally bump him, and he shoots back towards the front there, starts coming out into the open. It's a pretty big lobster. You can see by those antennas. Definitely a good sized lobster. So here is my first real shot. I like I said, I've never done this before, so I don't really know what I'm doing. I should zip him up right here. I kind of take my time, and it was a little too much time, and he takes off. So at that point, I'm like, well, it's over. I'm not going to get another shot at this guy. But sure enough, I come back down, and he's back up on the other side of this ledge. So he shoots back down in the hole. I don't give up on this guy. He gives me another great opportunity here. And I think I just need to be a little bit more patient. I've kind of bumped him to get him moving, and he took off. At this point, same kind of thing. I'm like, I doubt I'll have a shot at him. He'll probably be gone. But I keep my eye on him. He doesn't move. He moves up a little bit higher on the coral, and it's a pretty good one. This might have been the best one of the trip. And I finally get to cinch up behind him. Got to bump him a little bit to get behind his tail. At this point, I thought he was gone, but he just stayed just long enough. There you go, my first lobster. Right there, I actually I tried to grab him, and I cut my hand terribly.
You look nice. I don't know if you're gonna. I got my gloves. Come on, buddy, be legal. Oh.
At this point, it's my first lobster. I have no idea what the, you know, I can't look at him and be like, oh, this is definitely it. But you could tell.
I completely
Put
cut my
the
hand up real
measuring
bad
on
not
there,
wearing
and it
gloves.
was.
I don't know what I was thinking. Hopefully sharks don't come, right?
Yeah, no doubt he was legal. And
There's a couple
like I
more
was
in this
saying
hole.
there, I
We'll see.
sliced my hand up real bad.
Got the gloves on this time. See what'll happen. Trying to go for 2 out of this hole.
So get the gloves back on. There were probably 4 or 5 in this hole. I saw a couple smaller ones, you know, with messing with that big one. Most of them kind of scattered, but there were a couple small ones left in there. So I just go down and take a look. Come down, this one, I'm like, oh, the antennas look pretty good, but by the time I kind of size them up after seeing that first one, he just looks a little small. I just try to get him out a little bit, and by the time I look at him, I'm like, he's a little small. So, pull up.
So I got the biggest one out of the group, and there were like 3 or 4 tiny ones, and then just one decent one. So got that one first keeper. Really happy about that. Like to get one more from my wife if I can find one. Glass are getting fogged up, so I'll clean these off and then get back to it.
So at this point, I'm happy to have one. I coasted along to probably 2 more spots. I couldn't find anything on one, and then I happened to see some man-made items on the left. There was like a stone crab trap and a couple other things. Just to let you know, in Florida, you can't go for lobster under any man-made structure. But there's this big rock in between the edge of the coral and the grassy, sandy bottom. So I see one on the corner, and I say, you know, hey, let's try this out. I really didn't know how good of good this spot was going to be until I got down there. There was just like 1 or 2 sticking on the corner, but then I got down there, and there was quite a bit going on. So here's my first drop. Breathe up. You can see it's kind of the edge between the coral and the grass, and I see one antenna here. 2. You can tell there's probably 2 of them right there. They didn't look that big, and I look over to this side. I'm like, whoa, ledge full of them. So after swinging at the last one that I caught 6 or 7 times, this was quite impressive in my head. I cinched up on the first one, no problem. And I don't trust myself yet to take him off the noose. I leave him on the noose till I get it in the kayak. Here's my second drop on this spot. I actually start from the other side. And I had spooked a few of those bigger ones in the middle. So I beat on this guy pretty good. Try to get him out, and he kicks out just enough where I can get over him and cinch him right up. That one I got him halfway on the head. It'll work. dives. I mean, I breathed up a little bit. It wasn't the deepest water, but it was probably 15 foot. So I breathe up, kind of look in that front corner again. Same type of technique. I kind of just bully him out of this spot till I can really get a look at him. So I'm kind of bumping him, walking him out. And when he goes over, he actually shoots into this little spot and then gives me a pretty good look right there. And yeah, there he is. Not a bad lobster. This guy barely made it, but I'll take it. Get him measured up real quick. Like I said, I really don't trust myself to be measuring him in the water. I know I probably should, but he gets measured before he gets in the boat. So get him locked up. I take a couple more dives on this spot. Problem is there's a deeper spot in this ledge that just hard to get to him. You can see a couple antennas sticking out. I try to kind of bully him out to where I was getting them before, but I just couldn't get any of them to really come out any further. After all the commotion, they kind of know what's going on. So that was the end of the first day out there. This is the second day. Me and my wife come out, and it rained all morning, all night. We had like a 3-hour window where we were just going to try to come out. The water clarity was not nearly as good. I had the first day I probably could have stuck it out and tried to grind out a limit, but I was pretty tired and diving by myself. It's not worth really pushing yourself too much. But this is, we tried to go back in the spot on that ledge from the day before, but there was a couple other boats on it, so we tried to we went on the other side of this reef, run into this Goliath grouper. He's looking for lobsters too. You can see him in the middle of the screen. He's a little blended in there, but pretty good sized one. It's pretty neat. And on this other side, I think it was a black grouper. He's taken off in the middle. You can kind of barely see him there on the sand. But that was really neat to see. Corinne got to do a little bit of snorkeling. She was pretty helpful in spotting lobsters. So I definitely struggled on this day. I was a little wore out, I think, from the day before, but there's a decent looking one. This is the one that I saw that made me stop in, and I really have no room between him and the coral to get this noose in, and I just bump him, and he takes right off. He's got a pretty good hiding spot in there. He does give me another look later, but it just was so tight in here. It was hard to get him out of these ledges. I think a stick and net would have probably been the move on some of these. This guy, I get him to come right out. It's a very nice lobster, but I forgot to wear my gloves here. So I could have easily grabbed him, but there I am. I go to reach for him, and I don't want to slice my hand up too bad, so I just leave him be.
I
I
could
mean, I
have
try
grabbed
to
him. I could have
noose him, but
grabbed
the
him, but I
moving
didn't have my
target's pretty
gloves.
tough.
There's more lobsters? Where? There's more lobsters. Where? Are you?
So here she is pointing them out. I have a hard time finding them here, but she pointed out 3 in this hole. And still pretty new at this. I looked pretty good on the day before, but this day I was really struggling. But I go down. There's 3 of them. One thing I'm learning is on some of these tighter ledges with all these, it's probably not a bad idea to cinch up that noose a little bit before you get behind them. Just so you can get between them, because it's really hard to get that noose behind them if they're packed in there like that. And this spot was pretty loaded. I mean, there were not a shortage of lobster. Here I go back down. I'm coming back down with a lot of frustration. I'm not gonna lie. So there were 2. I mean, there's 3 in this hole, but there were 2 decent ones. And at this point, I am just irritated. I see the smaller one on the left. I touch him, and then I'm like, I'm just gonna stick my hand in here. And yeah, I know this is kind of amateur hour, but I just go ahead and stick my hand in, grab him, and pull off the surface. It was a pretty decent one, so I was definitely happy to get one while she was out there. But it was quite a struggle of a day, and the water clarity wasn't good. And, we kept watching the storm on the backside of us. And unfortunately, even though the spot was loaded, it started to rain a little bit, and there were a couple storms rolling in. So at this point, we just decided to wrap it up and head on in. Yeah, that one I knew was plenty good enough. I still throw the measuring device on them, but throw them in here. I make a couple more dives, and really after that, I just decide it's best to head on in. It starts to get a little nasty out there. But here's the end. It's the end of the video. We got a good shot of the very first lobster I ever caught. That was that one I missed like 6 times on the first stretch of the video. But it was a blast. I can't wait to give it a go again. And we got 5 on the weekend. So I can't wait to just give them a try. And we're gonna try to do some steak and lobster this weekend. And thank you guys for watching. I can't wait to do it again. Thanks.